Hey guys, it's Corey with Media Unlocked, and today I'll be talking to you about the Sony PXW-X70. Now, I like this little camera because it is not only a great and versatile camera, but it's great for docs. It has a 1-inch sensor inside, which is a 20 megapixel sensor, effective maybe 14.2 megapixels, but it can shoot 4K. This is a great camera that can shoot 4K. And if you're looking to shoot 4K, this is a great camera to start out with. So it shoots 10-bit 422, which is a great color space. It has an HDMI and SDI output. It has a 24 clear image zoom, so you can get very, very close, which is effectively the 29 millimeter to 348 millimeter equivalent to a 35 millimeter lens format. What I like about this camera, I love the fact that you can hold it in your hand. It's very light, right? You can capture just anything right in front of you immediately. The startup time on this, when you open it, because all you have to do is open up the viewfinder right there, and it starts up pretty much immediately. So if you're in that run and gun moments where you have to capture something that's right in front of you, you can do that with this camera. It has autofocus, so all you have to do is point and shoot, and you can make this a really nice run and gun situation. Now, I have found that you have to put your left hand underneath the camera in order to access all of these buttons and functions, and the wheel especially, because there's no other way of doing that on the side, which can kind of be a pain sometimes, because if you're wanting to record and change any of your settings, you have to get your left hand under there. And if you're left-handed, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a little bit harder for you. So this is an amazing little camera because for this size, you're fitting in 1-inch sensor inside, which makes it a really, really crispy camera to shoot on. The 4K on this is incredible. The only other camera that I've seen in that small of a size is my A6500, and that does great 4K as well. So the great thing about this is it has 2 SD card slots, which means that when you have one SD card that fills up, it'll go to the other SD card. I did a wedding, and that's exactly what happened. I was shooting, and I was worried about my media because it was low, it was maybe like a 64 gigabyte card. Now, I had 2 of them in there, and so when it went from one, it just went to the other and continuously recorded. All I did was I threw it onto my timeline, and I was totally good. So the one thing about the SD cards though is you want to be careful not to use an SDHC card, but an an SDXC card. Now try saying that 3 times fast, because I cannot do it. I'll tell you that right now. So another really cool thing about this camera is that it has 2 Xlr inputs. So you can have a microphone, and also you can have a wireless connector to possibly a lav or whatever you have going on in your shoot. It also has a viewfinder in the back here, and you can pull it out like so and put it up and down right there. So if you're trying to look down into the camera and it's a really, really bright day out, you're able to see your image clearly and get your shoot done. So I love the feature of changing the gain on this camera. However, I would not go past around 6 or 9 dB. Now, 6 dB is around 800 ISO, and that if you shoot a lot of DSLR or even professional cameras, you know what ISO is. So in the doc world, it is called dB, and that's your gain. So when you go over that, when you start to go over that, you get a very, very grainy image, and it's basically unusable. I did that at the wedding that I shot with this, and I think I turned it up too much. I believe I turned it up to possibly 12 or something, 12 or 15. And it was a horrible image. It was a low light situation, only overhead lights, and that was it. And it looked grainy when I put it back into the timeline there. Even though it was 4K, it was not as crispy as I wanted it to be. So this camera has ND filters. It has 3 different ND filters. It's a 1/4, a 1/16, and a 1/64. So that gives you a lot of versatility when you're outside and you're wanting to get shallow depth of field. You're able to do that with these ND filters. And the optics that come with this camera are kind of amazing. It's made with Zeiss glass, which everybody knows that Zeiss glass is one of the top companies that make optics. They're only beat out, in my opinion, by Cook lenses. And that's just my personal opinion and my personal look that I love to go for. So when you're using this and you're outside and you're wanting to cut down on that light, you're able to throw those ND filters on and go down and open up as wide as you like. So who do I think this camera is for? I think this camera is for those of you who are wanting to get into doc filming. It's a great camera for 4K, especially an entry-level 4K. It's very, very crispy, and it's really easy to shoot. All you need is SD cards. It's a great running gun. I don't think it's a professional camera, but I think it's a great camera for those of you who are wanting to do doc shoots. It's a prosumer camera, so you just have to keep in mind that there's a lot of restrictions with what you're filming and the control that you have over this camera. So if you've made it this far and you want to see more videos from us, you can hit that subscribe button right down there. And if you want to get this Sony PXW-X70, you can get it from B&H, and that gives us a little bit of commission, and it helps these videos keep on going. If you want to see our newest video, it'll be right over there for you guys. I'm Corey, and I'll catch you next time.